Hello, welcome to the Collector RC. Alright, so finally we're back to doing some more upgrades with the 124, the Axial SCX24 Jeep JLU Wrangler, or Wrangler JLU, whatever you want to call it. And so to now we've done tires before on here, and we kind of discussed as far as what tires, rims, all, and we did a bunch of measurements, weights, and that kind of stuff. So then what really broke open the door was when the Betty came out, and how good those Rock Lizard tires were on the Betty. And it's like, oh man, I wish, I really want those on the Jeep. So then we had to go through and look at sizes and that kind of stuff and see what the size difference, because we already know that the smaller size tires just don't work very well. They don't give you the clearance. They're cool looking, We went with the Rocklocks originally. They didn't last very long. They're basically still brand new. I'm not sure yet what we're going to apply these to besides having a spare tire. So I ended up going back to the Nittos with the Trio beadlocks. So the issue with these Nittos, though, is that these are not purchased. These Nittos came off of the original stock rims. And I'm not sure, yeah, I do still have some. We talked about it before. These are the original stock rims. You can see how damaged and beat up and just, they are kind of dirty, but you can see the damage that's already, that was on every one of my rims. Just wear and tear, we've started, this is basically the car that started our YouTube. This one and the Cuz is white JLU, and he's fully customized all, his, upgraded it, and then I've done the same. Started off with the free upgrades and now moved on to the store-bought. So that being said, the tires were that old too, and out of all the videos we've done, these tires have been around since day one. They are beat up. They did not come out perfectly. They came out pretty good off the rim. They are glued, the stock, but they weren't perfect, and so they don't quite fit as nicely as I want them to be on here. They're little, they're fine. They really don't apply anything to your crawling. But the traction is an issue for me with the Nittos, and I'm sure you guys have all kind of seen, and that's why you're looking for more tires. And I think the Rock Lizards are going to be the answer for that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to end up we went ahead and purchased the Rock Lizards. They don't have foams. I'm not going to use the foams I have in here in these just yet, because what we're going to do is basically, this is the upgrade for the Jeep on its way to finishing all its upgrades, getting to the point of being a dual steer, maybe even going as far as becoming a monster truck. But right now, the reason why we're not going to use the foams is because it's not so much the testing as much as we already know these tires, the gripping and all, it's just better than the stock Nitto tires. So we already know we're going to get advantage. The foam application is going to be more towards the Betty in general, because that's where we really actually go in depth into these upgrades, and we'll go into depth with the Betty and using Little Bros Trill beadlocks with these as well. They'll have foams and not foams to see what the difference is, if it gives you an advantage or doesn't give you an advantage. But sorry, I just kind of made that bounce around a little bit. So let's go ahead and get these installed. I'll go ahead and do, our typical we'll speed through the installation part of me actually doing the work, because there's a lot of screws involved with beadlocks. So I'll go ahead and get these off. We'll go ahead and get these on there and kind of run a little bit and see, what we're doing. And like I said, so with the Betty series, which is this Thursday's video, that's when we'll actually go in depth, weight, measurements, all the cool details about these that you're going to want to know. But for right now, it's going to be an upgrade. And I'll go ahead and put a measurement on there so you guys can actually see the differences between the stock Nitto on the beadlocks and then the Rock Lizards on the beadlocks. So that way you get an actual diameter and thickness and all that kind of stuff. So let's get to it. Okay, so we got the beadlocks on the new Rock Lizards. I went ahead and took this tire off as well. This is the Nitto. This is the Rock Lizard tire, as you can see. The size comparisons, they're so close. So close. The Rock Lizards are clearly a little bit wider. But let's go ahead and measure that. And then we got to talk about something important. And I would have to go through the comments again, but one of you out there brought it up. And hopefully you'll see this video and comment again, and then you deserve the credit. Out of all the RCs we've done, through all the tires, bead locks, all that kind of stuff, we've never had to deal with venting. It's not something that's been a problem for us. It's most tires and wheels and stuff we've received or used already has venting. It already has its own self-venting, and never had an issue. You will, though, if you're using the Trill bead locks and the rock lizards, will need to vent these. So you can see they're ballooned. There's no air moving out or in. You can't hear it. I mean, can't hear it, can you? And what that does is it creates a bouncy ball effect. And we can actually show you real quick what I mean. So now these are clearly vented. They don't have that problem at all. And a lot of it's because the rim around the inside of the tire didn't come out perfect when I removed these, so it actually gave venting. So basically, when you drop on your RC car, it should give. It should flex around. That's the softness of a tire. That's what gives it its gripping ability, all that kind of cool stuff. And I mean, these are going to be difficult because they're so small, but as you can see, you know, it falls over. It's got a little bit of bounce to it because it's, I mean, you know, my whatever you call my topping here to my bench kind of gives a little bit. But now when you see this, so I'm going to drop from the same height. We'll drop this from here. Whenever it just falls over. Now the same thing. Oh, that was actually pretty good. Hey man, I get credit for that. You guys all watch that, right? But you can see it is it's a bouncy ball. I can make this thing. Yeah. So you need to vent that. I gotta do it with that one too. And by doing that, there's multiple different ways and tricks you can do it. If you don't want to destroy the tire, don't care about the bead lock, you can drill little tiny holes inside the bead lock in that inner rim that you put in, which is usually where your weight will come in. The other option is putting tiny little holes in the sides of your tires, which that's probably the option I'll end up going with. I'll probably put 2 holes in. But knowing that, but just understand by doing that you are opening it to the elements as well, and you will have to periodically go through and, you know, clean the inside of your tires. So the inside is rusting, water will get in there, and you don't want water. I mean, it kind of gives you a little bit of weight, but you don't. That's not what you're expecting. So anyway, yes, we will. So the venting is a thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and do these measurements real quick. Now, not all tires and everything are actually the same, especially depending on the bead locks you put them on. The fact that I have foams in, but you look here, approximately 54 millimeters. We're going to go to the side and kind of push it in a little bit. Same thing, fits right in. And then, so you got this is the Nitto on the bead lock, Trill bead locks. So 54 per diameter of that one. And then now we're going to do, remember the stubs here kind of add a little bit of height for you. Let's make sure we're accurate on that. So looking at 52.8, but actually pushing it in here. I mean, depending if you're on the nubs or not nubs, you'll get pretty close to 54. But without the nubs, you know, you're looking at 50, 52. So there really is a minor difference. It's the closest with it's the best bang you're gonna get right now for your buck, because it's a little bit difference on diameter. It's thicker. Let's do that. So we're looking at approximately, let's make sure that's right, 18 millimeters for width. And make sure you get the outside, yep. And then, whoa, looking at 19.3 for width on the Betty. So you're losing a little bit in diameter as far as your height, but you're gaining in width, but you're also gaining in the tread, which these are way better than these. I mean, these are cool, and the fact they're licensed Nittos, that's really cool. But for crawling on rocks, for like extreme gripping and that kind of stuff, these are way better. And these are probably the best tires you're going to find I personally believe, if you're sticking to the original SCX form, these are the best tires in the market you're going to find. So I would definitely go with the Rock Lizards if you can get them. So, okay, so now talked about we got to do some venting on it. I'll go ahead and do that. I'm not going to go into too much in detail about like how I'm going to vent and stuff. That's really up to you. I would suggest getting on YouTube, some other YouTubers, and finding the best way to vent your tires. We'll do another one like on the 110s if we ever come across that, but because it's so rare for us, I'm just going to do the holes, poke the holes in the tires kind of a thing. I don't think it'll do that much wear and tear over time with the 24 because it's so small, and its extremes are nowhere near the extremes of like a 110 or, you know, obviously real cars. So let's do that. And we'll go ahead and switch all these other tires out and get that on there and actually drive it around so we can see it. So about the venting, I went ahead and poked the holes through. I ended up doing just 2 holes in the sides instead of the top. I didn't want to ruin, there's not really a good space anywhere. Sorry about the focusing there. In the tread, unless I do it in these little spots here, and I didn't want to. Because it's you know, it's a 124 scale, it's probably not going to see a whole lot of water, mud, and even if it does, it's be so little, I'll just remove the tire anyway. So as you can see, I poked the holes in here. Now I got to find them, which is probably the wrong side. So you can see, well, you probably can't see. Let's see if we can, the other side's a little bigger. Yeah, it might be too hard for you guys to see on the camera, but maybe. You can see right where the tip of my thumbnail there, which I need to cut, that I poked little holes. The problem is, and I used my knife here, they're too small, and they just reseal. So I would press the tire in, and it would just do this, and then slowly come back. So realizing, okay, that's not going to work, you know, I use a leather punch. And so we went to the smallest setting on there, and I went ahead and got 2 holes. And the ends, I'm going to use this as the inside, of course. And I know some of you are like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you poked holes in your brand new tires. Well, because they won't work if I don't. So because of what this is, I'm not, like I said, it's not really going to see a whole lot of water and mud. I went ahead and put in the sides here. You could find, if you're going to see mud and water, you could just do the actual facing of the tire. You can find a little notch maybe and get it in there. If you can't, if you have a smaller way of making holes, this is as small as I could get, small setting. Which works, but you will have to vent these. Okay, so we got the tire on the bead lock. Just real quick, kind of showing. So this is with foams, and you can hear kind of, you know, breeze, but that's what the foams and the squish. You can kind of get out of that. And then this is without foam. You can see the squish, basically squish the whole thing. And then of course it's got the holes in it now, so it's got no there's no more ballooning, which is good. So now it'll actually flex around this, you know, rocks or whatever terrain you're going to crawl. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just probably just skip right through this and get to some well, get to the final looks and then drive it a little bit. Okay, so you can see that what I'm trying to do is trying to get it kind of jammed in the corner. My goal is to show how grippy these tires really are, how that tread really makes a difference. And I hope I did a good job of getting it stuck and kind of, not necessarily stuck, but kind of jamming it in certain places. These rocks are, it's not a course, it's actually my setup to a 110 course that I'm about ready to build for the summer. But this is, you know, what I had available at the moment at my place. So I really wanted to show, so that's why I'm kind of doing extreme and showing like when it's jammed in the edge, how it can actually, the tires will pull you out. I know the overdrive does a little bit of effect into that as well. So that's why you're kind of seeing it going in the corner like that and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So. guys. I've gotta say, so far, I think right now of all the ones we've done, these are the best ones for these guys. The grip on there is just so good. So I really do recommend them. And yeah, they have a little bit of squat too, which I kind of like that. But yeah, I mean, I'll put a link. I went through Amen Hobbies. I think I mentioned it before in one of our other videos. I don't know if they're on the market again yet. They might be still back ordered again. But yeah, I would, if you can get your hands on these things, I would definitely get these Rock Lizards. They are it's the tires that come stock with the Betty, and you can get them separate now. So I would highly recommend them. They're pretty amazing. So this little vehicle is turning out to be quite a beast. So, and we still have more to go. All right.